Ah, hello everybody, and welcome to BBB Episode 3, Transcontinental Sausage Party. Um, today, we are graced by the presence of Nexus Spacey and Master Ian Gamer, and of course, yours truly, and the presence of our most esteemed Bastion main Astro, to have a discussion on the death of the first Overwatch 2 beta. Hello everybody.
Hi.
I don't want to go back.
I don't want to go back. Don't make me go back.
So, Ian, do you want to go back?
No. There's one thing I'm looking forward to in Overwatch 1 still, and that's playing Deathmatch again. But other than that, I don't want to touch that original game. I'm done with it. Overwatch 2 all the way.
There's one thing that gave me very, very short hopium, and that was playing Ryan Zarya and then immediately getting dumpster clapped by Ball Hog. It's Overwatch 1.
Oh boy.
Oh, you have to. You gotta like pain to enjoy it. But we'll be touching on that shortly. First, I would like to begin with a point, which is the post-mortem analysis of the dead body that is the Overwatch 2 beta, finished off by ours truly, Sombra.
Yeah, there's a nice screenshot of it. The people that played until the very end saw their servers getting shut down with a message by Sombra herself.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Yeah, you didn't see that?
No.
It said in the yellow text. It said Sombra initiating server shutdown. Boop.
Wait, was this on the actual client?
This is on the actual beta. Yeah, on the client.
Oh my god! I have to look up a picture of this.
That's pretty cool. I didn't see it myself because I didn't play till the very end, but yeah, that's a pretty cool one.
Alright, let me see. Now I have
Yes.
to see this.
As Astro finds that, I would want to question all three of you, of course, seeing as I didn't really get the opportunity to participate in this magnificent technological experiment, as to your feelings now that it's done. And we're not going to really talk about it versus the live game now, because that's going to come up next. But really, how was it overall? Just to tell me about your total experience now that it's over, that it's finished.
I think.
It was wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ness, if you want to go, just share your
Yeah,
thoughts.
I think they did an incredible job. They didn't do the best job communicating everything it would entail to the broader community, but they did an incredible job at just showing us how much better the game actually is. It's really good. Like, the heroes felt nice. Every hero did their own thing. The maps were okay, it's reasonable. But the overall play experience was incredible. The beta did a good job.
Yeah, I think more than anything, what I loved so much about the Overwatch 2 beta was it just felt so fresh. It's so many of the heroes are the same, but still the fact that there's a new 5v5 format, the new maps, the new game mode, it just felt like, I'm finally doing something new in Overwatch. And that in and of itself just felt so good. It was
It was
so
a big
nice.
miss from Overwatch 1 because we didn't get anything.
Well,
So a bunch of new stuff. I mean, even with the broken menus and everything, and some things working and some things not working, but it's just there was so much new stuff, but enough stayed the same where it was still incredibly nice. Like, no character was changed unnecessarily, I felt.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Well, that's good to hear. Any thoughts on that in particular, though, in terms of the changes that we saw to some of the characters that we already had? Some of the more tasteful changes, let's say, that were very minute, like maybe the role passes.
Like
Passives,
the role,
for
yeah,
instance.
role passives were pretty nice. Overall, you'd notice them every once in a while, but in the broader view, it is just nice to take less knockback and feed less on tank. It is nice to be able to heal out of combat as a support, and it's really, really funny that you can just outwalk Reinhardt as a DPS.
Yes. Well, actually, one question I had. Does that kind of niche quirk about Sigma's knockback still apply with the new knockback reduction to tanks?
It was much less noticeable.
It's much less noticeable? Okay.
If it even is there, it's barely
Right.
noticeable.
Right. Okay. Huh.
I felt he was a lot harder to knock back as a
Well, yeah,
as a as a support player.
but what I'm saying is like,
He doesn't slide as much anymore.
okay, got it.
Oh, that's probably a good thing. Because like getting punched by Doomfist as Sigma was like the worst experience
It's
imaginable.
like,
It was
welcome
you
back to your spawn door.
basically you got an extra like 3 meters on it, like always.
All right, that's interesting. Good to know. All right. Let's see other changes. I really didn't play support, but I definitely noticed it. Like when I would be going after a support and they would be like out of the fight for like more than a second, it would just be sort of like every single time I'd have this moment of confusion of like, wait, why are they higher health again? And it honestly made a difference. Like I definitely lost some kills just because of that. So it definitely makes a difference.
Yeah, you have to keep a lot of pressure on supports now to kill them.
Yeah.
Like, they have to be overwhelmed. They have to be damaged constantly for you in order to kill them.
Yeah.
And that makes it, yeah, it makes the experience against, but also as the support, very different.
Right.
Probably ultimately for the best, really. One of the things that I remember criticizing about the design of the role passives was how menial the 10% speed looked to me, especially because I play a lot of custom games and we've played around with a whole bunch of settings like that. And I was like, there's no way this is going to make a big difference. But now after seeing it in action for an extended period of time, I can certainly say that, at least from the spectator's perspective, it does make a big difference that you can super shimmy and, like swiftly evade, like
It is
characters in the other
noticeable.
roles. Yes,
It's noticeable. Small, yes, but noticeable.
I'm gonna be completely honest. Maybe it's just because I didn't play a ton of DPS during the beta, but I didn't really notice it.
You don't notice it a lot playing.
Yeah.
But when you're any other character or any other role, you start noticing a bit more because it's like, okay, well, my teammate walks a bit faster than me. They
Right.
can catch up to me a lot faster. Like it's strange.
Yeah. Okay. That's true. I definitely noticed a few times when like chasing an enemy DPS around a corner as Sigma, that it would just be kind of like, oh, and they're gone.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay, that makes sense.
Well, I thought the game would feel incredibly autonomous for every player. It didn't. There was still a lot of team play, a lot of ability combos, but just you had a lot more individual power without taking away the team play aspect. The team
Right.
play aspect wasn't as necessary, but it was still quite good and still very fun and still incentivized.
Right.
Right. That's what your Overwatch said. Your Overwatch pointed this out, and I think Ian, you mentioned it as well at some point. That it seems to be less of like an RPG where you can just. You didn't say this publicly, I don't think, but the Overwatch is less like an RPG where you can just build a team comp that is indestructible by certain hero types, forcing swaps, and it's more now about like, yes, most things will be viable because you can just kill things dead, and there aren't like 25 barriers in your way, stopping you from.
Like they can't counter you when they're fucking dead,
Yeah, I think
True.
the term I've used is like every hero feels more normalized or more generalized, where it's like there's less extreme specialists, and everyone just sort of fills a similar sort of niche, such that any hero is viable in most situations, more or less.
Amazing. Right. I think that's a really good change for the game as well. Although obviously, as we are about to mention, there are a few things that still have to be tweaked. There's some characters that will definitely have to be addressed. Probably, I would say Symmetra, like 80% sure that she has to be reworked. Brig, I'm confident that she has to be reworked. Ian, I know you said the same today in your video, but we'll be discussing that later. So
Symmetra is an interesting case because her utility isn't any weaker in Overwatch 2. I've gotten a bunch of use out of it myself, but that's just because I only play her when I feel like it's the right time to play her.
yeah,
She's definitely playable, just not as a DPS. I don't know if Astro and Ian agree on this, but
So I never actually played Symmetra myself during the beta, I don't think. But in my experience playing against her, especially in the beta, she felt strong. Like, stronger than I feel like she normally does in Overwatch 1, and I'm not entirely sure why. It just seems like...
it's just actual masters on Symmetra that only played
Probably.
Symmetra.
I'm sure that is probably the case. But yeah, she felt a bit odd. I don't know.
Yeah, I played her for all of 10 minutes, and I mean, she felt good, but definitely kind of, odd, as
She
Sim
functions
does.
less like how she should. She's supposed to counter barrier play, and that doesn't happen at all.
Right, there's no barrier play whatsoever.
Yeah, it's like, what are you gonna do? Counter Sigma?
So
Oh,
it's
yes.
being spammed
Yes.
secondary fire, right?
Yes,
Oh
you do.
no,
yeah.
the monkey bubble is slightly weaker. Oh no. Anyways,
Well,
it's just
it has more health, right?
yeah. So like, you're not chunking through that with your beam, anyways.
Yeah, right, exactly. It's 800 or something, so you're not going to pop it.
It's 700. It's the same as Sigma's.
Is it?
Yes.
I thought it was 800 in beta.
I'm pretty sure they buffed it in the beta, because there was a big deal about that, about how, like, with one less person, the focus fire is harder on the shield.
Yeah,
But-
I thought it was 800 in beta.
I suppose that would be a point of comparison between the live game and the beta, which is also something that merits a little bit of discussion. So, now that it's over, looking at the live game, well, I mean, there is no comparison.
They're harder to compare than you think. Like, you're playing the same heroes. You're using mostly the same abilities. You're playing mostly the same maps. And it feels entirely different.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And I.
So,
Sorry, go ahead.
go on. No, please, go on.
I really think people. I think people underestimated like just how different 5v5 would feel
In a good way.
in a good way. Yeah.
Yeah, the 5v5 difference I found to be really interesting because, like, for a long time before the beta, I was very skeptical of 5v5, but it was always the mindset of, I don't want to judge it until I've played it. And now that I've played it, I like it, but I feel like the fact that there's only 5 heroes versus 6 heroes doesn't stick out in the way I expected it to. Like, I feel like you only notice these sort of, like, you notice like the effects of 5v5 as opposed to 5v5 itself. Like, it never feels like I'm fighting a team of 5 as opposed to 6. Like, that's never a conscious thing I'm noticing while playing. But like the way things happen, where it's like the tank dies and that causes a huge shift, it's the sort of like side effects of the change that are noticed, which just felt so weird to me, because I was thinking about talking about this in a video, and I was like, so what are my thoughts on 5v5? And I was like, I don't know. I don't even know what my thoughts on 5v5 are. I just know I like the outcome. I
It's a lot
enjoyed
less
what it
noticeable.
created. Yeah, I enjoyed the game that 5v5 provided, but 5v5 itself felt like something I didn't even really notice, which is just so weird, because I couldn't really think of a good way to like explain that feeling of it.
One thing about 5v5 that a lot of people like indirectly stated, but small interactions feel a lot more impactful. Like between you and enemy players. Like something negligible will happen. You think it's the coolest thing in the world.
Such as.
Can you give an example of that, please?
Yeah.
Like a character hitting a headshot, like doing a breakpoint. It's just like, wow, that feels so different than it does in Overwatch 1. Or like an ability being hit just right to hit like 3 players. Because hitting 3 players in Overwatch 1, it's like, okay, that's not the worst. Or here's one that's a very good example. Getting slept in Overwatch 2.
Oh. Oh man.
It's a lot more noticeable
Yes,
when
I 100%
someone on your
agree.
team gets slept or you get slept. It's just like, what the hell?
It's
Yeah.
it's very much more the feeling of just end me already, like.
But also something like a barrier or just existing at all in your team. You're like, holy shit, I can stand here.
Right.
Yeah, Reinhardt overall, I think, still did feel kind of weak throughout this beta, but he definitely added that really weird element of having the barrier, because it became so unique to just him. Like, sure, Sigma and Winston have barriers, but the way Rein's barrier in particular ended up like manifesting with how he can move it, and it's so versatile.
Mm-hmm.
It really introduced like a unique way of playing the game when he's on the team as opposed to any other tank, which I kind of liked.
In Overwatch 1, you kind of look at any team comp, and you're like, oh, we don't have a barrier, insta loss. You take the barrier for granted. You're just like, okay, I'm gonna peek this angle in the middle of the road, and then get like glocked by Widowmaker or something.
Right.
And you're like, okay, that's fine. That's supposed to happen. But now, after getting gonked like a few million times, you're like, okay, I'm not supposed to stand there. And then you have a Reinhardt or a Sigma or a Winston on your team, and you're like, wait, I can stand there now. And that's only because my tank decided that I was able to stand there. That's crazy. So something negligible like a shield, that's like, people take it so for granted. Like they walk past it in Overwatch, They're like, I don't fucking care. That's just an ability. I don't care. But in Overwatch 2, it feels very impactful. You'll notice the fact that you have a barrier because you're standing behind it, and you're not taking damage. You're not like you're not taking the same duels. You can shoot them, but they can't shoot you, and that's different.
Right, because it's no longer the standard. Right, I see what you mean.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's a pretty large shift, I guess, in the philosophy and the game design. I suppose that was the implication of the good old "it'll be more like Call of Duty" statement that was.
But it doesn't feel bad.
To many of us.
Like, right, I expected it to feel bad. Something that was also very crazy is that you think, okay, the loss of tank synergy, it is noticeable. Like, playing Ryan Zarya is just gone. It just is. It was one of the most fun things in Overwatch 1. However, if you've played any of the tanks in Overwatch 2, you're just like, yeah, fuck the synergy, I have Rock now. Fuck the synergy, I throw the spear. It's so much fun playing tank in Overwatch 2, where I feel like they compensated for the loss of tank synergy a bit as well.
Well, playing tank can be fun as long as like you aren't facing certain things. Yeah, tank is fun.
Tank is fun.
But there's definitely certain things that you can face as tank in Overwatch 2 where you're just like, this is miserable.
But there's usually an out to it, like by playing a different tank. Except Sombra.
Yeah. Except Sombra. That's what I was thinking. Except Sombra.
Widowmaker, exactly.
Except Sombra, Widowmaker, like, especially Sombra mixed with the Zen. It's just...
Sombra Zen is just... Ugh.
It's just like, oh god, end me.
Oh, Christ.
Especially, like... It's especially bad if it's, like, Ana Zen Sombra. Because you
can't heal, you take too much damage, and you can't peek.
Exactly. It's just like, oh god, just make it end.
But again, those are much smaller interactions that you start to notice that normally you're like, okay, I don't care about being antied, I don't care about the res happening, I don't care about the Widowmaker standing in the back. Something will deal with it, and now you have to deal with it.
Right.
Yeah, that's a really good way of putting it. Mm-hmm. You are the one who has to deal with it now, not your team.
Yeah, it's not your team's fault if you're losing. And to put it bluntly, in Overwatch 1, every time you lost, you could be like, Jesus, my team is just awful. But in Overwatch 2, when you start losing, very rarely will you think, wow, that's my team's fault for losing.
Right.
That's incredible. You mean to say that people are going to start taking responsibility?
Oh, I don't know if we'll go that far.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't think I'll go that far.
No, but I do... I'm just going to loosely say something that Frito says. Like, you very rarely feel like if you're losing, that was your team's fault. You think, man, I could have done this better. I could have done that better. If only I had played better, I could have maybe pushed it to a win.
Right.
Except on Circuit Royale, that one just sucks on attack.
Yeah, I was thinking, like you're saying, oh, we got these great new maps, and I was thinking like, okay, what we got 4 of them, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we got Circuit Royale, we got, Queen Street, Midtown, yeah. We say,
Rome.
Yeah, we got these 4 great new maps. I'm like, we got 2 great new maps. We got 2 great new maps and 2 maps that make me want to throw myself off the edge of the map.
One thing I was missing a lot in even some of the newer maps was cover.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Yeah. It's they were like, all right, we're gonna add a lot of cover to the old maps and some of the new maps. And the only cover I noticed was a attack cover for Widowmaker. Like, they just put a rock somewhere where only ever Widowmaker exactly would stand.
Right.
Like, on a high ground in Gibraltar, where most Widows would stand, or an off angle on Route 66, where, you guessed it, the Widow would stand.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just missing a lot of cover that they said they were going to add.
Oh, don't forget those cars they added to Dorado, which are positioned such that an enemy Widowmaker can easily just shoot you over them.
Yes.
Exactly, that's what I meant. Like, they're only there to help Widow and not hinder her at all. Like,
It's
yeah, but the one wall on the Dorado after first point, yeah, that'll get her.
That'll really
An
get
angle
her.
she couldn't peek anyways.
And honestly, that wall is kind of funny because like, I go to it, and I'm like, shit, I can't get around the corner fast enough. If there's someone pursuing me, I can't get around the corner.
You die.
You just die.
The cover they added, I did feel it was very not noticeable, but in a way where it's like you notice it when you have to take cover, but you don't notice it in normal gameplay. I think that idea is good, but some of the cover could be a bit more aggressive in shutting down certain angles.
Yeah. No, that's
like. A lot of shooter games will do this. Counter-Strike, for instance, does it where they're just like, wow, this sniper angle that goes from one end of the map to the other is a bit broken. Let's just, I don't know, put a sign hanging somewhere that just says, fuck you, sniper rifle, like literally on the sign.
There was a lot of that in, this is just an aside, but in a lot of Call of Duty small maps on objective game modes, random piles of rubble or trash or furniture will appear to cut off sight lines. This is most notably visible on the map Nuketown, which has appeared in almost every single Treyarch Call of Duty game. And it's always true. They always put like a huge piece of something or other to cut off this one long sightline that literally goes across the entire map, which is just like, they're like, okay, maybe this is fine during TDM, but like maybe not when you're playing an objective game mode. It's like, how about we don't have sightlines that reach from spawn points to other spawn points? Like,
One small thing I want to mention about Overwatch 2 is how Overwatch 2, this particular beta, had a very limited map pool because it plays on the map pool that the Overwatch League plays on.
Right.
But, like, they didn't even have the other maps in the game. Like, not even in customs.
Yeah, not even customs. Right, that's right.
So, I mean, Ian, you probably noticed this when you were like, let's go dig for some lore, and you're like, oh, half the maps are gone, never mind.
Yeah, I was thinking about why they were just straight up absent. And, like, all I can think is, you know, they don't have finalized versions with the new color or, like, new cover, the new cover, or, like, the variant times of day. And so they didn't want to just have all these old maps just unchanged in the custom because they thought that would look clunky or unfinished or something. So they just cut all those and just only had the maps that they had finalized and ready to show off as part of Overwatch 2. That's my assumption for why you couldn't even do it in custom.
But like, yeah, I guess they just weren't ready yet, huh?
It's a very Blizzard thing to do, isn't it? It's like, it's not exactly where we want it to be, so we're just going to not have it out entirely, even when like it could come across as just like having way less content.
Yeah,
right. They do have that polish mentality, which I think is
they have a lot of perfectionist approach.
Yeah.
Yeah, like they don't do anything half-assed as their as their management would show.
Well, unless it has to do with the representation. So, on that subject, on the little conspiracy of representation, I'm sure many of you saw the post on Twitter about
Very
the
tasteless post. It's just like, oh no, controversy. Let's create more controversy.
Yes, indeed. We don't really need to brush on that too much, although I think everybody, regardless of their political affinity, found that laughable and grossly offensive.
Oh yeah.
Which I think is that, you know, that meme of the two guys linking hands like over something, kind of like that meme of just like everybody and then everybody else always being like, oh yes, look at Activision doing literally everything wrong all of the time, continually.
Team Force.
Yeah, I love when everyone can just come together over things like that.
I think everyone, like, regardless of their political view, can agree that Blizzard probably isn't the best company for Overwatch, because yeah, just look at Team Fortress. We'll do a based thing, and then the Activision Blizzard Twitter account will be like, yes, we hate every race except white people. Here's a graph that shows just how good your race is. It's just like, oh god.
Yes, we love race science here at Activision.
Oh god.
Here at Activision Blizzard King, we love race science. Because it wasn't actually their program. It was just a company that they bought, and they showed the program off. Which makes it even stranger why it would publicly release it and be like, yes, this is our thing. Let's use an example. Let's use a game as an example where we didn't use this technology to develop it.
See, I think the best part about it is just they published that article thinking it would impress people.
Yeah.
Like, I can only imagine like the thoughts going through their mind when they publish it and then immediately see all the negative backlash. Like, what on earth were they expecting? Like,
What were they thinking? Yeah, it's impressive. I don't think I've seen a tweet with more responses, retweets, and like tweets about it than actual likes on the post. Like even you'd think that like at least more than 60 bot accounts would have clicked like on it, right?
Right.
nope.
No, that tweet was just like, oh boy. Like, we truly do know what we're dealing with now.
Bobby himself developed that one.
Bobby himself wrote the tweet.
Cooked it up in the crack rooms in the Activision Blizzard back rooms. He was like, the race science, post it.
It just really shows how out of touch they are. Like,
Yeah.
they're just doing all this as showmanship. Like, they either don't care or just don't care enough that they're like willing to put any thought into it. They're like, oh yes, beep boop thing that shows good progress. They put it out and it's just like, of course it's gonna fail.
It's blatantly obvious to everybody and their mama.
Yes.
And it's funny you say blatant to everyone and their mom, because like it's so obvious that like this approach that they're having is like a good generation behind of like generally yeah, or like 2 generations behind of like their idea of good PR. It's just like, what the hell are you thinking?
I mean, that's
Boomer
par for
vision.
the course with Activision.
Yeah, I know it is.
This is
Boomer
something
vision.
even that we see all the time in Overwatch. They feel so behind the times in terms of how they handle PR and those sort of things.
Yeah. Oh boy.
It's a good example, right? The Overwatch 2 beta launch, like it started off really good, and then they were just like, "Oh, you can only get it for 1 day. Like, watch 4 hours of a stream and get it, or you don't get it at all." Yeah, I found that one pretty strange because every other game that has done like stream releases, right? You get a beta key from the stream.
Right.
Has at least had like a week or 2 window to get the game. And Overwatch was like 8 hours, take it or leave it.
You get 1 day to get access to the beta. Good luck.
Alright, so conspiracy theory time. I think they may have done that intentionally so that their concurrent viewers on Twitch would hit an insane number, and people would talk about that.
Possibly,
I think
but
that's
also
why they did it.
It's possible, but it also directly, immediately backfired.
Well, yes, this is ABK we're talking about.
Yes.
Okay.
It's like they do something like this. ABK does something like this. You just have to assume it's going to backfire.
One step forward, fall down the stairs.
That truly is just sort of the ABK kind of MO, isn't it? Oh boy. Oh man. And it's even worse because like I don't know like obviously I know that like Overwatch League would have done better than usual anyways, but like I've been watching Overwatch League lately just to see sort of how Overwatch 2 plays the pro level, and the number of people in that chat who obviously didn't give the slightest fuck about Overwatch League and were literally just there for keys, it was like 99% of people. Like, 99% of what I was seeing in chat was just people asking for keys.
Exclamation mark drops, am I right?
Yeah, like, that was 90% of the fucking chat.
Well, that's what the chat normally looked like anyways.
Okay, that's true.
I don't think you've watched the Overwatch League, but all of the YouTube chat for Overwatch League is just exclamation mark drop, and then every once in a while, like, a questionable comment, and then the other comments are just like, monkey zap, the Shock will win.
Okay, yeah, that pretty much was what I was seeing. That's fair.
It's just a lot more drops because there was a very low likelihood that you could still get a key from the Overwatch League.
People were doing this stupid shit where they were like spamming the tree emoji. It was just like spam tree get key. I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with you people?
I swear to God, Twitch chat, they're not humans. They're weird entities from deep space. I don't know what they are, but they are people.
Okay.
Oh, don't tell me that, Ian. I might have to start studying them.
This is YouTube chat. It's even worse somehow.
Yeah, it's YouTube
How
chat.
do they manage that? Like, they think, oh yes, we prevent them from spamming yep cock, and then they're just like, yep rooster. Ugh. It never works.
It never works. Oh boy, now it's. I was honestly kind of taken aback by just how much of an absolute clown show the Overwatch League stuff has been so far. Like, I know that's
the first live stream had incredible, just impeccable live stream
I
quality.
know. I know.
I mean, I sure did enjoy seeing just the color red a lot.
I know that.
Yes.
I know that's not what this episode is about, but like, holy shit, the Overwatch League. It's been a clown show.
I think we should move on to our next topic.
Yeah.
That is returning to Overwatch 1 and some other thoughts about certain heroes and such.
Ness,
Going forward, yes.
you and I.
So,
Sorry.
returning to Overwatch 1, is it really possible, or is it a feat only achievable by those who really enjoy their own suffering?
I think a lot of Dark Souls players will definitely enjoy returning to Overwatch 1.
What the fuck are you talking about? No, I don't.
But you love torture, you love pain.
I like Dark Souls. I like that brand of torture. I don't like the brand of torture of going back and just like being bombarded by like social abuse.
Boop, frozen.
Never mind, I forgot. Gotcha
Raw.
players will love Overwatch 1 again.
Because it's all RNG if you win or not.
It's all RNG if you win or not, and it's just pain and torture as gameplay.
People who play the children's card game Yu-Gi-Oh! In current year would also love Overwatch 1.
No.
No.
Pain and suffering.
There's no way the combo.
It's just, man, I went back, I played like 2 games, and I was just like, this is just sort of an objectively worse game.
I was taken aback by how individually useless I felt.
Yes.
Yeah, it's just it's strange. Just going to Overwatch 2 being like, I am a god among men, and then immediately getting shut down by someone who is just actually better than you.
Yeah.
And then you go to Overwatch 1, you're like, I'm attempting to be a god among men, and then you get rocked, stunned, bubbled, Tesla cannoned, pile drivered, brig bashed,
Link
whip
dart,
shot.
anti-heal.
You're off the map. Sorry, can't play.
All I gotta say is I do not envy your position, Ian, seeing how it is literally your job to go back to Overwatch 1 now.
Ugh. I might only play deathmatch until the next beta starts.
Honestly,
What's
that's
the footage
fair.
you got? There's probably enough background footage, right?
Oh yeah. No, he's got
Never enough B-roll footage.
That's never enough. Start reusing B-roll.
I might have to.
I mean, you can definitely use it for example B-roll, right? When you're talking about Overwatch 2, just bring out the old footage. It's good.
Yeah.
I mean,
I've got a decent archive of stuff I recorded, so I'll see how long it lasts.
What did you say? You have like how many gigabytes?
500 gigabytes.
Fucking hell, man.
Overwatch 2?
Yeah.
Fucking hell, man.
I thought BP was huffing copium with a good 200.
I saved all my matches, even the bad ones, which will never see the light of day, but I still have them just in case I need them for something.
In case I need to show just how bad of a time I had.
I also
more specifically, I was thinking if there's like a secret and it's like,
Right.
this one angle and this one map, you can see the Junker Queen, and then I have to go back for all my footage to find that to verify. Oh yeah, there it is.
Oh, yeah,
One
I
map
could
you
definitely
played
see the
where I
Junker.
died 20 times.
You could just see you getting farmed in the background. You're just
Yeah.
like, here, small circles, zoom, Junker Queen.
Yeah, if you take this one still frame, zoom in the background, it's just me dying.
Just you dying on hamster, just a fucking mech exploding.
No.
You could see hamster particles slightly on the screen as you zoom in.
Nah, it would be more accurate if the footage has, it's like Ian's point of view and it just zooms in and it's the Junker Queen, and then off to the side it's just me getting fucking farmed.
You're getting headshot by a widow.
Yeah.
Wait, but nobody would be able to
Frame
tell,
right
though.
through the skull.
Nobody would be able to tell it was a headshot, though, because the UI is so terrible
Yes.
for that.
Yeah.
I do love though how like in half of the B-roll footage that I'm in, I'm either doing nothing or I'm getting farmed. And it makes me really reflect. I'm like, wow.
Yeah, you're not the first person who's brought that up to me, who's been in my videos. When I pick footage, I try to pick footage where I'm looking good, and the unfortunate side effect is that usually my teammates aren't looking good at that same time.
Well, actually,
I'm not in your footage because I crank up the SR like tenfold.
Yep.
yeah, that's true.
Yeah, you're the only one doing good in those videos, Ness.
Oh.
So those don't ever get used on my channel.
That's why.
Incredible.
Although I will say in the video you uploaded today, you did get the play of the game that I got as Sigma on Coliseum that I was utterly underwhelmed by because it was literally just me getting one kill on a Zen.
Yeah, a Zen which I had discorded, and that's why I put the footage in the video.
Insane.
Kill credit for Ian. Speaking of Zenyatta, I think that we should not talk about supports because we're going to be talking about supports next week when we have our one token female and support specialist, good old Jazz, on the show.
Well, actually, Jazz is out for pretty important reason. I'm not sure if she will actually be able to be here next week. I'll have to ask her. I'm not sure if she knows right now.
She managed to injure herself enough to the point where she was like, I don't think I can
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's fair. I'm not sure if
that
she'll be
one.
feeling well enough next week, but we'll see.
No. But it depends. We'll see. But if that's the case, eventually we'll be talking about supports. But now I did want to bring up something that I alluded to previously, which is Master Ian Gamer's thoughts on Brigitte. Now, earlier I did mention that some heroes would have to be changed. I'm going to continue to stand Chad strong and give Chad yes to should Symmetra be reworked. I think Chad yes, make my queen a support.
That's actually something I do a lot in. Sorry, just to break this off a little bit. I whenever I join a game on my own, I'm just like in the voice chat. I'm like, hey players, how do you think about issue 1? It's just like, how do you guys feel about Symmetra? And I don't think I have asked a single person, and they haven't replied with she should just be a support.
Yeah.
Like, every player I asked about Symmetra was just like, yeah, so they should probably make her a support. Her kit really fits that.
That sounds like a very good, reliable statistical methodology, and I highly suggest that you take it to academia to demonstrate your knowledge of the literature.
Well, okay. But yeah, that's what I do sometimes when I'm like, hey, how do you guys feel about this? Or am I being gaslit by myself?
No, you're not wrong. Like, that is a good way to get feelers on the community, and I think that that's kind of an interesting thing too, because if everybody feels that way, then Blizzard maybe has a good reason to, let's say, perhaps consider adjusting her in such a way.
Mm-hmm.
Perhaps.
But back to our favorite Swedish lady that has a shield, has a whip, that has no utility.
Yes.
Yeah, Brig needs a rework.
Yep.
I'm willing to go on record and say that the Overwatch 2 beta version of Brigitte is the least engaging version of any hero that has ever existed. That was such a boring hero to play. Oh my lord. Like,
she plays.
I can't stand Mercy because I think she's just boring and not engaging to play.
I'm the same.
I know a lot of people like her, but like, even Mercy felt like there was so much more strategy involved in how you used her compared to Brig on the beta. Brig is just swing. Oh, somebody's near you, whip shot him. Oh, whip shots on cooldown, shield bash him. Like, and like, yeah, you're gonna win because she puts out a bunch of healing, but like, it's so boring and uninteresting. She doesn't do anything.
I like how Brig has become the Moira issue again.
Well, I was just gonna say she's literally like less interesting Moira. She's melee Moira, and like
even Moira, she has her orbs, which you can use one brain neuron to think, oh, what angle should I fire this to heal the most people? You don't even get that with Brig. You just person in front hit shift. Like, it's a computer could play it.
Like, okay, yeah.
Calculator could play Brig.
Good analogy. Glue eaters can play Moira. Actual computers can play Brig.
Yes.
It's
You could get the freaking Apollo space capsule and still win with Brig.
you could
Bing, 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 bing.
you could literally use the computer that they used to land Apollo 11 on the moon, which is literally less powerful than a TI-84 calculator.
Yeah.
And you could have it play Brig.
You could probably program an AI on that. It'll perfectly execute Brig on a playable plane. Just press E, walk out of spawn. That's all you do. Maybe whip shot the hamster in your backline.
Yeah.
Oh god, man. Just playing against Brig and Sombra against Ball is just like, oh god, end me. It's just
a lot of healing. It's high healing, and you don't know where it's coming from. You're shooting at someone, you're like, why are they still at full health?
Right. Yeah.
Uninteractive healing is what I say.
Yeah, it is an unattractive feeling. It's like, at least with Lucio, you know,
it's not that high.
It's not that high. And Lucio is interesting because, like, while he is a character that can basically function just by existing, there's also a lot of shit you can do with Lucio. Where with Brig, I mean, what you see is what you get.
Yeah, I think the one interesting mechanic Brig still has is her barrier shield.
Yes.
Because every now and again, you'll be in a position where there's a Widow, and you can bring up your shield and not die to the Widow. And that's the most fun you're going to have playing Brigitte.
It's like, oh my god, I didn't get one shot.
Maybe if you're lucky, you can cover a teammate with that as well, and that's like, oh, best game I've had all week. Keep the shield, rework the rest of her, because she's fallen so far.
One thing I found just jarring was the fact that you know how in Overwatch 1, when you shield bash, you jump after it to get a bit more distance, right?
Yeah, they got rid of that.
They managed to bug that. It slows you down a little bit after the initial 12 meters, so that if you do the tech, even if you do it correctly, you don't go any further. So, like, not only did they just make her less interesting to play, they gave her less skill expression in her kit.
Great. No, there was literally a clip in one of the Overwatch League matches. I don't remember which one it was. I think I know it had the Vancouver Titans in it, so it was, you know, a clown show. But their Widow like fired at the enemy Brig, and somehow, some way, it literally, I guess it ignored her barrier and it insta-killed her?
Yeah, so Brig's barrier is one of the buggiest things in the entire game, where its visual will show up half a second before the actual barrier hitbox is there.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Yeah, and that's been bugged since her release. In 2017 or 18?
18, yeah.
Yeah, so it's been bugged for 4 years and they haven't fixed it.
New game still bugged.
No, it was just like, man, that was a clip to watch. I was like, what the hell just happened?
That's just how I die every single time on Brig. Like, I don't let myself die ever, and then I die to the fact that my shield doesn't technically exist yet.
It's maybe Brig should have that Sigma line. The shield no longer exists.
Barrier no longer exists.
I mean, it has such little HP as well. Like,
Yeah.
you hold that up to try to use it and just shred it instantly.
It is.
Yeah, barrier usage has a lot of skill expression because it's such a small barrier. So like whatever you're blocking has to matter.
Mm-hmm.
That I want to keep, right? That's cool.
Yeah, I think that is the one interesting aspect of Brig that has remained. It's like
the
little
shield
barrier
bash.
mechanics like that.
Shield Bash, very fun. You could probably keep it, maybe adjust how it works a little bit, because the way it is now, you just go really far, then really slow, and then you're just kind of like, I guess I'm 12 meters this area now. A whip shot, it's pretty nice, but maybe it can be replaced for something different. The one ability that irks me the most, the two abilities that irk me the most, though, are the repair pack. You know, the armor pack that doesn't give armor.
Yep.
Yes.
And Inspire just brain dead healing your team for 6 seconds, regardless of where they go.
Yeah, both of her healing aspects are entirely brain dead. Just aura auto heals anyone, and just look at someone, press button, they are healed.
Okay, so you think it's not even an aura. It's an activated radius where someone will get a buff. So if they move away from the aura, they still have the buff for 6 seconds.
Yeah, it's just it's so unengaging. It's like
It's
all
less interactive than a Lucio aura. How
Yes.
would they do it? Like with Lucio, at least you have to stand close. No, this thing's like twice as big as well. It gives you a buff so you can move out of the area after it's been activated, and like at least she has to do something for it. But what she gets in return is just brain dead healing.
Nope, she doesn't have to do anything for it, and she also doesn't have to enjoy it. You know, and the time of enjoying Brig,
She has to
I think
hit someone.
She has to hit someone, but that's not really a cost, especially with whip shot. But the time of enjoying Brig, and I really enjoyed Brig for a long time, it was masked by the fact that I was often playing with my friends on tank, so I didn't really notice. But now I think that in Overwatch 2, having one less tank, having more attention put on the individual abilities of the characters and how those abilities are used, really shows. And then didn't the developers just say, "Oh yeah, we'll be giving more utility before the next beta"? Like, I'm pretty sure they literally just said that. So it's like, okay, cool, every other support will now be, useful. And then Brig's gonna be like, LOL, I sometimes have 450
They said they were going to
effective
do a lot of things to supports. Look at their utility, look at their kits and how they fit into the game. A character like BAP fits a lot differently into Overwatch 2. A character like Moira doesn't have any utility, just glue straight up in their back line. Just it works.
glue in the nose. I really do appreciate the what they did to BAP. That regen burst change was genius.
It's a cool one. It's interesting. It's not super balanced, but it's interesting.
No, it's not balanced at all. It's completely cracked, but also it could be totally fine.
Yeah, it's probably totally fine, but like it doesn't feel incredible to play as or against. You're just like, he pissed on himself and now he's back at full health.
Yeah, I know that they did say that. I unless I'm misremembering, which I very well might be. I believe they did say that they weren't able to finish all the reworks that they had planned before the first beta came out.
That makes sense.
So there might be at least one new rework out in the next beta, but I don't know. If I
I'm
had
expecting 2 or 3 actually.
Yeah.
I really do.
If I had to guess, I'm thinking probably Moira, Brig, and Symmetra, but I could be wrong. Because I can't really think of any other heroes that are really in need of a rework.
The new one?
What you
They're
think?
probably going to add this support next.
You think
right?
Sojourn is in need of a rework?
No. Like the new hero will probably be a support hero, which will add a lot of content for support players next beta.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Unless they're a tank and they're just becoming more fun to play.
Yeah.
I'd love a new tank.
That was I mean, I would too, but like,
We need support.
I don't know. We're already hitting an issue, I feel like, for me personally, where it's like, in Overwatch 2, I kind of just only want to play tank heroes. Like, playing the damage and the support, it's like, okay, it's fun for a couple matches. But then I just want to go back to tank, and it's
Yeah.
like, this might be
Grinding
the only
tank on
role I
Overwatch
really
2.
enjoy.
Grinding tank in Overwatch 2 was so much fun. Like, I'm not traditionally a tank player. Like, I'll play tank every once in a while. It is my second most played role, but tank in Overwatch 2, it's just, you feel really powerful. You're always busy doing something.
Yeah. Yep.
And it's really, really fun. You feel like this powerful dumbass that goes into the team, spears someone, hits someone over the head with a hammer, claps someone on the ground with a big hammer. Like you throw space orbs at people. You one-shot combo them with rocks. You're just the coolest guy on the team.
You're invincible, and you roll around, and you make squeaky noises.
Exactly. You're just the coolest thing on the team, in my opinion, and that's nice.
Yeah.
I really love that.
I'm really curious to see how queue times for the different roles play out, just over the months ahead and once Overwatch 2 releases. Because I could honestly see tanks becoming the new DPS in terms of just sitting in queue waiting to get tanked.
Well, especially because there's only one. There's only one per match.
Yeah, that's the other thing. Because playing with other people, when you're a group of friends, it's we all want to play tank.
Well, that's the thing, right? It's that's the thing I keep thinking about. It's okay, when Overwatch 2 competitive comes out, Ian and I are roughly the same rank, but who's gonna play tank?
Both are stuck in the flex queue now.
Yeah, it's honestly brutal, because even when you just had the 2 tanks, that gave a bit of room to at least sort of alternate. It's a couple people can play, and maybe there's a third person in your group who also wants to play tank, so maybe one person can cycle out to support or damage every now and again. But now it's just the one tank, and it's everyone's just staring at that tank slot, and it's all right, who's going to be the one to just queue as only tank first? Just take it from everybody else.
I think it'll incentivize flex queuing onto either DPS or support for the tank player themselves.
Oh yeah,
a little bit, at
Certainly.
least in group queues.
But I'm worried it's going to have the issue where it's for me at least, I just won't enjoy playing the other roles, such that I'll be I'm not having fun in Overwatch unless I'm getting that one role that we're all fighting for.
Right.
I'm just going to become a damage main, essentially, in that regard.
You're going to become the Genji main on the tank
Yeah.
role.
he's gonna become the thing he swore to destroy.
Yes.
But it is just that much fun. That's really telling of how well they redesigned the tank role.
Yeah, that's
No,
true.
really. And honestly, I do think it's going to mean they're going to have to do some things with the DPS just to kind of make it not feel like, the peripheral player role.
I don't know. I feel like damage roll is probably fine because there's still loads of people that just only want to play soldier or Genji or
That's
whatever.
true.
I feel like they're not going to really do much with the DPS role in that regard, but I think support role is where they should be focusing a lot of that attention, because support, I think, needs to be the sort of backup role for people who like playing tank. And that's why I hope with a Brig rework, they maybe work her more in the direction of being a conventional off tank, as opposed to just heal.
Yeah,
give her more interesting tanky style.
Yeah, what she was originally supposed to be, like an off-tank healer. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, to some extent, some of the other supports can function as off-tank. Specifically Lucio.
I was just gonna say.
Lucio functions like an off-tank if you play him like one.
It's just
That's just because he doesn't die.
He just doesn't die.
And he can heal.
It's just
Yeah.
whenever there's an enemy Lucio on the team, I'm just oh fuck, I'm gonna get booped, and there's nothing I can do about it.
It's less noticeable though.
As tank,
overall.
yes.
As tank. No, I still find DPS enjoyable. It's still fun for the same reasons DPS was enjoyable previously. It's honestly more fun now in Overwatch 2, I find, because there's just less stuff to stop you.
That's true.
Mm-hmm.
Good point.
You'll feel more active. There's less going on to stop you. If you're playing Genji, you're not getting rocked, whipped, stunned. That's not going to happen. You're maybe going to get rocked once, But like, if he's throwing a rock at you, then that's probably not good for their team.
That's why I think Wrecking Ball in general is so good in Overwatch 2, because there's just nothing that stops him anymore.
Yeah.
Like, even if he gets hacked by a Sombra, 1 second he can't roll around. Like, that's usually pretty inconsequential. Yes, but in my experience, you get hacked, just, duck behind cover for a bit, and if you take too much damage, and roll away to heal. Like, I don't think Sombra's much of a threat to Wrecking Ball anymore in Overwatch 2.
Well, what I found to be
Maybe
really
she's
went
really
out
good
and
at
said
timing
skill
it, and she cancels your ultimate or something like that, then maybe, but I don't know. I think Wrecking Ball is a lot better than people think he is.
What I found troublesome is less just like the hack itself and the fact that she can be invisible while she hacks, especially with Wrecking Ball, because it's like, I can go in, and I'm just like, okay, if I knew there was a Sombra there, I wouldn't go in, right? But I almost always have to assume that there's a Sombra. So it's just sort of like, how do I go in here? So it's...
I mean, you can just sort of, like, keep tabs on her in the sense of, like, you might see her hack one of your teammates, and you're like, alright, I got free reign.
But
Or,
it's 4
like,
seconds.
you've seen her use her translocator to just pop back after someone hit her with something. Okay, you're free to roll in. Like,
a good one I always say is keep your pile drivers low.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah.
Go for low, like, riskless pile drivers, and that'll increase your value like tenfold against Sombra, because the main way she's going to hack you is when you're going for these high up pile drivers that hit everyone, and then she's just like, and she hacks you out of it.
Yes, that's true. But the other thing, the other tank hero that I've especially found it troublesome with is Sigma, because Sigma is all ability based. He's a spellcaster tank, and the thing is like, when there's an enemy Sombra on the team, I'm just like, can I ever press Q? Like, am I ever allowed to press Q? Because I feel like, as soon as I go in, it's just like, okay, hacked, cancels ultimate, I guess I'm dead.
That's like the design flaw of Sombra, I think, and one of the things that will always make her a problem and probably get her lots of ire from the community is the fact that it's the easiest, least interactive. You don't get to play the game. Your channeled ability is cancelled, right?
Well, it's interactive, but it like stops interactions from happening.
Right.
And that is her power. It's like, if you interact a lot, I'm gonna cancel one of those, and it's gonna be crucial, and you're gonna be dead because you're at a position where you thought you could use an ability, and then you can't.
Or in the case that he's just talking about with Sigma just is never allowed to use Grasp.
Well, he's never allowed to use Grasp, he's never allowed to leave his shield down, and he's never allowed... You can cancel Rock pretty easily, too.
Yeah,
you can cancel
you can cancel the ult.
Yep, and because it's only on a 4-second cooldown, you could just do this all the time to ever... Like, basically, and this is the only... I mean, I see them kind of reneging on their change of philosophy here, because this means that if Sombra's on the enemy team, you can't play these heroes. You just can't. Because you're losing 100% of their value all of the time. Because just the risk of that being able to happen, and the fact that it's so easy to do and so mechanically not taxing for the Sombra player, and also because the Sombra player can do it while she's invisible, so completely outside of your awareness, means that you just can't afford to play those heroes against her, which kind of does the opposite of the goal. I mean, I really don't think that... I think that it is. I think that it is a violation of the principles of Overwatch 2. Kind of like, I think it's even more egregious than Res, to be perfectly honest. I think it's maybe the most egregious thing about the entire game.
Yeah, I mean...
They might want to do something about how Sombra is designed, but it's not as awful to play against as some people
I would say think. Just increase the hack cooldown, honestly. I think if they just...
Not even, though, because then it'll defeat the purpose of the damn thing. I mean, I'm not going to be greedy, but like maybe put her in the support category. Wait.
That'll be good, but like every 4 seconds is a bit much to have on an interrupt. Like, you didn't have stuns like that in Overwatch 1 either.
And this is more than a stun. Like,
it feels a lot different than a stun. Like, you can still move, you can still look around, but like,
it's a ranged
you can't do your shit.
It's a ranged stun with a Discord orb attached to it.
Yeah.
A ranged stun with a personal Discord orb that also depletes your ultimate charge on half of the cast.
Yeah.
It's like the casting time is faster than it takes for Lucio to land while standing on the ground from beat drop. Like,
not as much anymore. They increased the cast time of
it.
They did.
Oh, they did? Okay.
Yes, they did.
Yeah. So it's very difficult to cancel beat with it, but you can still cancel gravitic flux.
Believe me.
Even though Flux is totally a transform, like
It should be a transform, yes.
Well, it was.
It should be a transform.
It was, and then they were like, let's not. But they could probably bring it back to being a transform ult.
It should be a transform. Yeah, I wasn't really going to mention this, but Sigma doesn't need a ton of changes, but there are some changes that he does kind of just need. It's not
They
a ton
made
of them.
Whole Hog a transform ult.
Yeah, it's like he doesn't have a ton of. It's like there's very few changes that Sigma needs, but the ones that he does need, he really needs. And I think the biggest one is definitely the ult.
What's the fourth one you meant there, Zach, with Lelemaza?
oh, that's just a Hindi word. It's a statement in Hindi that basically means just take the most out of the night. So it's just like a point that says if there's anything else that like was really important to enjoy, or if there's anything that was really fun, any highlight moments you wanted to mention from your time in Overwatch 2 before we wrap up the podcast, then you would mention them now, right? Like,
We got
what
half
was
an
the
hour.
most pleasurable experience?
Just playing. Honestly, it was a
Playing
great time
Wrecking
playing.
Ball.
Playing ball.
Specifically playing Wrecking Ball and Coliseum. I think that's just the most fun I had in the entire beta. He's so much fun on that map.
I just liked playing Sigma. Just Sigma.
I enjoyed
Sigma.
ruining backlines as Lucio, and then getting kicked by Zen into my own backline.
I've mentioned this plenty of times, but like, despite the fact that you can get it off very rarely, just the fact that the animation cancel rock combo exists, oh man, it makes the game like 20 times better for me.
Hit him with a big ass rock.
Yeah, exactly. It's just, oh man. And again, I think the other big issue with Sigma is just sort of because there's only one tank, his sort of philosophy is like kind of taking off angles can be a little awkward. And I'm not sure just giving him more health can really help with that a ton, but again, I'm not 100% sure about it. I know like the way they've been playing him in the Overwatch League is that essentially it's how do I describe this? They basically play him as like a sniper tank, except he's not really like, he himself is not really the tank. His barrier is the tank. He's
a burst flanker with a deployable barrier.
with a deployable tank, basically. It's really strange.
Yeah. But it is definitely very Sigma, though.
It's very Sigma. Yeah, it is. It's absolutely very Sigma. I'm just, what I'm unsure of is like if he'll work long term.
Yeah, maybe. And if he doesn't, they'll definitely change him. As they've shown, they can change things very fast, and they're definitely going to do that.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, the beta, they had 2 patches in it. That's more than we've had in Overwatch 1 for the past 9 months.
Correct.
True.
So, yeah, they can definitely make changes, impactful changes, and silly out of the fucking woods changes. Like, who thought giving Zen a knockback, more damage kick would be a good idea, and it just works.
Honestly, yeah, Zen is a real interesting character now. I'm not sure if the extra 25 health might actually end up being a problem in the long run. I'm just not sure. But man, he is hard to just get on. Like,
he's a bit more difficult to kill. He's a bit chunkier.
Yeah.
Like, as someone who would, take great joy in comboing Zens to death with Lucio, it's just you leave him at like 15 health. You're confused at why he didn't die. He kicks you into a wall and murders you.
Exactly.
I can't wait to find a way to give the kick the Doomfist wall stun and kill effect on on a script, so Zen can just slide around in custom games and
Custom game Doom punch on Zen.
Oh man, you're gonna make me become a Zen main. Yikes.
the iris embraces you.
So does
iris
this fucking
punches you.
wall.
The iris kicks your shins.
Well, that is the point, I guess, of custom games. It is to have a lot of silly fun, and I can't wait to have a lot more silly fun in Overwatch 2. And hopefully, they're going to be announcing a console beta next month on the 16th.
Yeah.
The 16th
so.
is an announcement and not the next beta.
Yeah,
So,
that's the thing. I mean, I think that's one other thing we should touch on. Like, I know Ian touched on this on his video, but this is not Ian's channel. So
Not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet. Hasn't bought it yet.
Well, actually, it's funny you say that, because there is something you should do right before we end that I think you would get a kick out of. Yeah, I don't know. We should probably talk about exactly what we think will be in that. Because personally, if I had to guess, I think it'll be a beta announcement, and I think it'll basically be similar to like what they did with the last beta, where they basically just said like beta is coming, and then they slowly just sort of put out information of like rework, new hero, new map, and then like at the end of that slow release, the beta actually comes out.
I think it's not just going to be like beta is coming, but like they did with this one, they're going to say like beta is coming, and here's why. This is what we're testing this beta. Look at our cool new support changes and possibly a new hero. As we try to make our servers and UI not shit itself this time.
Yeah, I think it's probably going to be very similar to that first announcement we got for the first beta. But the fact that assuming that there are new maps and heroes in it, there's going to basically have to be new maps and heroes that we've never seen or heard of before, officially at least.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so Junker Queen, basically we know, but she's not officially confirmed yet. And they're like, if they have heroes that haven't been officially confirmed yet, I doubt they're just going to say, oh look, Junker Queen, in some like grand general like teaser for the beta. So I think they're probably going to say like 2 new heroes, or like new support and new tank hero. And then like over the weeks after that, actually leading up to the beta starting, they're going to have proper hero build up and reveal teasers to show off what those heroes are. And I think they'll do the same with maps if they have new ones as well.
Maybe after this beta, we'll also get an announcement, an official announcement for the shorts that'll be coming.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
And maybe some short stories, because the one on Sojourn was just like, hey, I'm Sojourn. I kick ass.
Yeah, no, that origin story was just so fucking weak.
The weak one, but I hope the animated short is going to be just banging.
It has a dog, it can't be that bad.
There's dog. People are going to love it.
So it's
just hope a bunch more shit's coming.
Yeah,
very good.
If I had to take a guess, I think it'll probably be, as Ian said, 1 support and 1 tank.
Yeah, probably. They wouldn't dare put another DPS in the beta.
Oh, I wouldn't be so sure.
They'd be like, here's Echo 2! Baby, we started off as a support and just like, oh, not again. That's our 3rd hero that started off as a support and became a DPS hero.
What was the first one?
Sombra.
Really? Okay.
Sombra started off as a support concept.
Oh, interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Echo also started off as a support concept, and then they were like, well, dupe doesn't work for supports.
That's
you don't want to lose a healer when she uses
like losing a healer kind of kills your team more than anything.
Yeah,
how do we
true.
put this on an ultimate ability?
That's true.
And then I just hope they don't pull out a 3rd. They also we also lost Sim. That's also one I forgot.
Yeah, maybe what they'll do is they'll try to even out the categories more by reworking Sim into a support, kind of like what they did with Tank Doomfist and all that. Is that
Doomfist works incredibly well, if I say so.
They
I love playing Doomfist in Overwatch 2. It's so fun.
You're
turbo feeding, but you're having a great time.
What they could sort of do is like rework Sim into a support and then add a support. And I think that'd
be incredible.
That'd even it out, yeah.
You'd have as much supports as you'd have tanks, I think, then.
Well, and then if you added a tank, it'd be 1 more tank, but that's not a big deal.
Yeah. That'd be cool.
That's something.
So
if they did that'd be very nice. but I doubt they'd have a rework for Sim ready.
Well,
Like,
I mean,
how do you make
they
Sim
really-
a support? But I think
Right,
we should cover
exactly.
that. I think we should cover that one in the next one about supports.
yes, that's true. That's true.
Very
so,
good.
you think we'll end it here? Because we've been going for a little bit.
Seems like a good time to cut it.
I think the last thing we should do is Ian, have you ever gone on Google Images and looked up Master Ian Gamer and see what comes up?
I have at some point in the past. I don't know if I've done it recently.
You should go on. Just look it up.
Just do this real quick.
Just Google search Master Ian Gamer.
I believe
okay?
I showed this to Ness.
Oh my god.
Oh dear.
I guarantee you there's at least one person out there that thinks that's a picture of me.
Yeah.
I love how it's just your profile icon. Astro. Icon.
Yeah, that's why.
What the hell?
That's why I said this. That's why I said that when you said it's not my channel yet. I was like, oh, you have no idea.
I love me some fat depressed Astro. That's that's a classic. Holy.
Wow, that is hilarious.
Yep.
So yeah,
Like even Google knows that you're associated. It's just like
Yeah,
this is
that's
the
scary to
first
think
space we
about.
can find with this channel.
little did Ian know I was Ian.
We've been the same
all
person
along.
the whole time.
Incredible. Well,
This is a weird selection of images. Just
Yeah, these are some images, all right.
yeah, at least the OnlyFans didn't leak yet.
yeah, I've been keeping that one under wraps.
Yeah. Give it a different nickname.
Yeah, I'm not
Master
going to say
Ian.
what that is here.
Yeah. I was about to dox it, but I'm not
We'll
going to
share
now.
that in the Patreon episode.
Yeah, perfect. A Patreon special. When we do our live in studio performance.
Mm-hmm. Looking forward to it.
Well, very good. Until that, I hope that you all have an enjoyable day, and I know that I myself am going to go drink some water and not play Overwatch 1.
Yeah, I have
Sounds like a plan.
I have homework assignments because my class started.
Perfect.
And,
Oh, wow.
dude, my professor's ruthless. Because
Oh, maybe you shouldn't say that on the internet. Anyway, have a nice day, everyone.
Is he really gonna watch to the very end of a YouTube video that his student made just to see him being called ruthless?
well, he has
I
no
think
idea
so.
I have a YouTube channel. What the fuck does it matter?
Not yet.
Not yet.
It's
They might find. They probably won't find
no,
out.
it
Actually,
doesn't. It doesn't have my name under it or anything.
Yep.
It's no, it's funny though because it's like it's a 6-week class, so but it's like a 15-week program compressed into a 6-week class. Oh man, I've had 3 different assignments in 1 week, and it's only Wednesday, and the class started Monday. It's just painful.
Uh-huh.
But anyways,
That's been the end of the video.
that's been that. So
Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you tune in to the next episode as we talk about supports
Yep,
and their
it'll be
impact in Overwatch
fun.
1. Some of the potential supports we'll see in Overwatch 1. Some ability concepts, maybe even. It'll probably just be me, just Jazz and I just throwing hands over who has the better support opinion.
And
Yeah.
then me complaining about Brig.
yes,
Yeah, but I will
Exactly.
join you in the complaining about Brigida, to be perfectly honest.
I'm-
she does need to rework.
as I've
I
said,
think everyone will.
I'm looking forward to that next video because I basically get to sit back and listen
Sit back and listen and enjoy molding.
because I'm not the
Yes.
one molding this time. So,
Well, lovely.
and what's your closing quip, Ness?
Shit, can't think of anyone. Yeah, I can't think of anything funny, actually. Don't do race science.
That's a fair one.
Don't do race science, kids.
Don't do race science, kids.
Anyways, that's it. Bye.